Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 13. In Module 13, we're moving on to our last major essay before the final, which is going to be an analysis essay. And so we're doing a different style of writing here. This essay is a little bit, it's a lot more simple than the research paper, so we don't have as much that we're going to be looking at. It is only 2 modules long, so we'll plan it in this module, and in the next module you will write it. A lot of students really like this essay just because it's different. It's maybe something they haven't had to do before, but it just mostly is based on your own opinion, and so that's kind of nice. You do some readings to do. There are some sections in the textbook that do discuss digital rhetoric, so how to look at and think about what's being told to us through a digital means. And then there's also a chapter on critical analysis and media critique. Some of it is directly related to the type of essay that you're writing, and some of it's not. But both chapters, I think, are fairly helpful in just preparing you for writing this essay. And then you do have a quiz over that information. So as soon as you finish reading it, take the quiz. I believe this is our last original quiz. The final will be quizzes that we've taken so far, just kind of put together. So it's comprehensive. So take the quiz. That should prepare you for just understanding what we're doing here. And then that we have the visual analysis essay criteria is the what you're going to be following for the essay. So basically the idea behind this assignment is that there's a lot of stuff out there that we see visually, and a lot of groups that are trying to persuade us to do something or believe something based on their visuals. And so we see this in a lot of different forms, but the ones that are easiest to analyze are going to be advertisements, and then images that are, like artwork and things like that. I give you a long list of types of visuals. You can use visuals that are commercials, things like that. But my personal opinion is that advertising, like print advertising, so still advertisements, work best for this assignment, just because there's a lot that you can typically look at. Even in a really simple ad, you could write a whole paper about it. So the traditional analysis is to sit down and just tell us, what is the visual that you're analyzing, who's, what is the product, who's making it, that kind of thing. Or if it's an art piece of art, what's the title of the art, who is the artist, that kind of thing, when was it created, all of that. So context, a little brief description of it, so what does it look like, and then your thesis, which is the main message. And this is why advertising tends to work better for this assignment, because there's often a very clear message about what they're trying to say. There are, you can use your judgment here in the message, whether or not it's effective, but the main thing that we're asking is, what is the creator trying to say about the image within the visual, or the object within the visual? What are they trying to say? So it's a little harder with artwork. Photography, sometimes you can, there's kind of a message that they're trying to send with a photograph, but just art in general is a little bit harder to analyze because, it may just be someone who sat for a portrait or something. So just kind of be considering that. What are they trying to present there? And then your analysis, though, the body of the essay is going to consider design elements, compositional features, anything that's kind of, if you've taken an art class before, you might have some more terminology that you can use, which is fine. But things like use of color, layout, is there a focal point, that kind of thing is all good to discuss. Context where you found it, and then, thinking about just why those choices were made. So these are different things that you can discuss. Context is a little bit harder if you are just finding an ad on the internet, so you may not have much context for it. But if you pick up a magazine and find an ad, you're more than welcome to use that. I do actually recommend doing that. A lot of libraries have magazines. Just go flip through a magazine, see if you can find an ad, take a picture of it, and then you've got it. You can put it in your essay. You can drop that image at the bottom of your essay. And then you want another body paragraph in there that discusses rhetorical appeals. So most students end up with 2 paragraphs about design elements and 1 paragraph about rhetorical appeals. So that we've discussed this all semester, but thinking about how does that ad use either ethos or logos or pathos or something like that, or all 3, to really appeal to the intended audience and try to name a specific audience as much as possible. So, if it's a ad for, it's in Farm and Country magazine or something like that, or Guns and Ammo magazine, or, something from a video game magazine, who's that intended audience? And then you want to make sure that you can use some first person in this essay. It's not very personal though, so you're not using personal experience. It's 2 to 5 pages. You want to make sure that you do attach a copy of the visual though, and that's important. Is either like working link. Most students will just copy and paste the image at the bottom of the essay. That's the easiest way to do it. But you will have a works cited entry with the visual listed. That's the only source that you need. And there's no other requirements as far as documentation is concerned. So it's very simple that way. You do have a second option here, and that is to use AI to analyze your visual first and then write an essay that analyzes the AI analysis. So this is like a little bit different of a way to approach this. And I would only do this option if you're not interested in actually sitting down to do the analysis of the image to begin with. But basically this option is here for those of you who want to really see how well AI can come up with an essay. So you have to give it the ad or the image or whatever, and then ask it to write the essay. In your essay, I want you to include like the prompt that you gave it, and then you do have to copy and paste the essay that it comes up with. So you're going to turn in 2 essays at that point. You'll turn in the original and then your analysis of it. And sometimes students will do 2 files that way. They've got them kind of separated, or you can do it all together. It's up to you. So you're going to name in the introduction, just name the visual and explain what you did with the AI analysis. And then your essay will be breaking down the actual AI generated essay and discussing, how well it did. Was it accurate? Did it include and did it misinterpret anything? What else? What would you have included that it did not include? What did it include that you didn't notice the first time, or something like that? So this really, in order to do this assignment, you have to have chosen the ad and already looked at it and considered how you would have analyzed it before you have AI do it. So it's not just like creating an AI essay and turning that in. That won't get you any points. You do need to include the AI essay, and you have to include the AI generator as one of your sources for your essay, as well as the original visual. Preferably, copy and paste the visual itself so that I can see what you were looking at. Don't make any changes to that original AI paper though. I want to see exactly what it came up with, even if it's full of like weird things. That's kind of the point. So to look for your ad, you can look anywhere online. Like I said, print copies of magazines are a great place. I would recommend searching for a particular type of ad. So like I just did, what are some creative beauty ads? And then this was a good website because it gave me the original place. A lot of times you'll find advertising like websites that have archives of ads, and then that gives you all the information for like when was it published and that kind of thing. If you're just Googling and you just get images off of the internet, that's going to be much harder to do because you don't have that original context of where that came from. So keep that in mind. The main thing we're doing in this module though is brainstorming. So once you've decided on what ad or what visual you're going to use, you're going to copy and paste it into the discussion board and then just answer the questions about it and then get your peers' opinions. So it's a little like doing a peer edit or peer response, but in this case, instead of like your whole essay, you're just doing some brainstorming questions and then some suggestions for your peers on what they might think of or look at or something like that to help them out. So that's all we're doing so far. In the next unit, we'll actually start writing the essay. So if you want to get started on that, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, have a great week.